The story of the four cubs and the secrets of the forest. In the morning, at sunrise, the animals begin to wake up from their sleep. Here begins the adventure of the four cubs. The eldest cub is called Moi, strong and brave. The second cub is called Hawk, loves exploring and asking questions. The third cub is called Lie, very smart and can solve problems. The youngest cub is Haig, always strives to keep peace among his friends. They were always together, laughing, playing, and fighting, but always making up. And one day, something happened that had never happened before. Leo woke up startled. His breathing was rapid, and his eyes were shining. I woke up from a dream. Very strange.
Nak said, "What dream?"
Leo said, I was walking alone in the forest, and it was very quiet. Suddenly, a cave of light, a very strong light, came out of it, as if it was calling me. Rocky said, maybe your brain is telling you to go there. Toma, so where is this cave? Roy Greet brought her old book and opened a page with an old map drawn with a pen. Look, the cave in Leo's dream is here. It's called the Cave of Secrets. Whoever reaches it will discover the secret of his life.
Their eyes all lit up, and they decided to leave the next morning.
At the beginning of the journey, the weather was beautiful. Birds were dancing on the branches, and butterflies were surrounding the cubs. But after a while, they stopped in front of a huge tree, older than any they had ever seen. And suddenly, the tree spoke. Who are you? Why are you here? We're friends, the cubs said. We're looking for the cave. The tree looked at them and said, before you continue, you must answer my riddle. Not just anyone deserves to pass. And it heard the riddle. I'm not a bird, but I have wings. I'm not the sea, but I have two waves. Who am I? You know, try to think. Haig raised her finger and said, the butterfly. The tree smiled and said, good, but before you pass, take a piece of advice from me. The secret isn't always in the place. Sometimes it's in the journey itself. With a gentle breeze, the tree opened a secret path between the branches.
They walked. Suddenly they heard the sound of running water. But it was strange. The water was running in the opposite direction. Rocky said, I want to try to run. He ran, but slipped. From under the water, a huge crocodile emerged, smiling and wearing glasses. Why are you running, Fod? Life isn't a race. Toma said, we're looking for the cave. The crocodile laughed and said, run, but on one condition. Solve this riddle for me. Why is water more precious than gold? Leo said, because we drink it. Zizi said, and because without it, trees and animals die. The crocodile shook his head and said, bravo, everything has value. But water is our life. He turned his back to them, and they ran over him to the other side. After a while, the world began to get cloudy. The fog descended and everything disappeared. The sounds became muffled, and the atmosphere became quiet. Toma said, I can't see anything. Leo said, hold on. But before they could, Toma slipped and disappeared. Zizi began to calm them down. We have to stay calm. Listen to Toma's voice. Call him quietly. You know when you get scared and try to calm down those around you? That's what Zizi did. They heard a small voice. I'm here. Rocky ran and found him hanging from a branch. They pulled him up and they all hugged him. Leo said, I'm sorry, Toma. I should have held your hand better. Toma smiled and said, the important thing is that you gathered me again. They entered a long corridor, blue light emanating from the rocks, and the air was warm and comforting. At the end, They found a large box with golden locks. Above it was written, "Open me if your heart is pure."
The cubs returned on their way, feeling that they had grown, not in size, but in mind, wisdom, and love. Leo said, "Every adventure has something new." Zizi said, "And every situation has a lesson." Toma said, "And I'll ask more questions." Rocky laughed and said, "And I'll stop rushing for a while." "And you? If you had been with them, do you think you would have acted?" The journey is over,